and welcome to Pink Paradox Reads. I'm Lisa, also known as Pink Paradox, and in this video I'll be showing you what I got in my most recent book haul. Now, I usually get my books online from Amazon in the UK, but because of the pandemic situation, it's been increasingly harder to order stuff from overseas because there have just been so few flights from out of the UK. So all of the books in this haul actually came from a Scandinavian company called Adlibris, which it's a little bit more expensive than Amazon. I can pretty much get all the books that I want from Amazon on Adlibris, but they are more expensive. But I did not pay for shipping, which is great, and the books were literally delivered to my doormat, which is awesome. Okay, let's get into the haul. The first book that I got is Mickey and the Animal Spies by Ann Miller. Now, this was recommended to me by my partner. He heard about this on the QI podcast, No Such Thing as a Fish, and he knows that I love children's literature that has to do with mysteries, so he thought this one would be right up my alley. I'll read from the back to you. Mickey is the type of kid who's always on the lookout for a code to crack, so it's her lucky day when she spots a strange poster on the bus home from school written completely in code. Within the strange jumble of letters is a curious message, one that leads to an exciting adventure, with diamond thieves, dog nappers, and an extraordinary group of animal spies. That sounds really good. I'm looking forward to reading it. The next book is a nonfiction book. It's Resistance by Tori Amos. Now, I was a huge fan of Tori Amos when I was a teenager. She was probably my favorite artist. Not only did she write amazingly beautiful songs, she was also best friends with Neil Gaiman, who I was also a little bit obsessed with when I was a teenager. I have not kept up with what Tori's been doing lately. I have not listened to her most recent albums, but when I heard that she had written this book, I knew that I had to have it. It's about her life in the music industry. It's about the current political climate in the US. And back in the day, I probably would have gotten this on audio because I loved to listen to Tori speak and read. But I figured I would get the hardcover because it'd be really nice to have on my shelves. Really looking forward to diving into this and maybe getting a little bit of nostalgia. The third book is a novel. This is Solstice by Lawrence Allison. Look at that cover, isn't that great? This I heard about on the Books in the Freezer podcast. They did a upcoming horror books of 2020, and this was one that was listed that I thought sounded really interesting. I think this is YA, I'm not completely sure. I'll read the synopsis to you again. When Audrey is offered an all-expense-paid trip to the exclusive Solstice Festival, she throws caution, her prestigious summer internship, and her parents' goodwill to the wind. She wants to live a little before the first day of the rest of her life, planned and scheduled in accordance with her parents' law school dreams. But when Audrey and a horde of affluent teen partiers arrive at the island paradise, it's nothing like a luxury vacation. There is barely any food, nowhere to stay, and not enough porta potties. Soon, the festival is trending on social media for all the wrong reasons, and musical acts are canceling left and right. Then, the first dead body washes up on the beach. So this sounds like kind of like a horror version of Fire Festival. The last novel of the bunch is The Chill by Scott Carson. This was recommended randomly to me on Amazon. I don't know anything about Scott Carson. I have not heard of any of his books, but Michael Connolly on the back here says horror has a new name and it's Scott Carson, so that sounds promising. Alma Katsu also likens this to The Shining, which sounds really good. I have to admit I got this because of the cover. It's giving me Jaws vibes. This is, I guess you can say, historical fiction, which is something that I normally don't really read a lot of. but I thought it sounded interesting. I'll read the synopsis to you again. Far upstate in New York's ancient forests, a drowned village lies beneath the deep, still waters of the Chilliwack Reservoir. Early in the 20th century, the town was destroyed for the greater good, bringing water to the millions living downstate. Or at least, that's what the politicians from Manhattan insisted at the time. The local families settled there since before America's founding were forced from their land, but they didn't move far, and some did not move at all. Now, a century later, the repercussions of human arrogance are finally making themselves known. An inspector assigned to oversee the dam, dangerously neglected for decades, witnesses something inexplicable. It turns out that more than the village was left behind in the waters of the Chill when it was abandoned. The townspeople did not evacuate without a fight. A dark prophecy remained too, and the time has come for it to be fulfilled. Those who remember must ask themselves, who will be next? For sacrifices must be made, and as the restless waters begin to rise, this is a hard word, inexorably? Sorry, Norwegian. The demand for a fresh sacrifice emerges from the deep. So, not historical fiction as I first thought, but it sounds like a really good vacation read. And the final book that I got in my haul is actually a coloring book. This is a German coloring book by Rita Barmann. It's called, bear with me here, Mein Sommerspaziergang. If you're German, I am so sorry. And with my limited high school German, I think that translates to my summer walk. This is a vacation-themed coloring book. I won't be going anywhere on summer vacation this year, so I thought I'd get this. It's full of vacation-y type imagery, lots of cats, lots of coastal images, which I love because I'm from the coast. So yeah, I also really like the size of this coloring book. A lot of coloring books are really big, but this is nice and compact. Okay, so that's everything that I got in my book haul. If you're still watching, thank you so much for staying till the end. This was my very first YouTube video, my very first YouTube channel. I plan to do bookish content, unboxings, and horror movie hauls, and if that's your thing, then I hope you'll stick around and subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.